Hi there guys, hopefully you're all doing well. Today we've got this Alfa Romeo Stelvio in the workshop and we're going to be having a look at it because it does have a very weird fault. Now I've got an idea of what's wrong with it, but I thought I'd do a video on it so you guys can see what's actually happening to it. Now I don't get many of these in the workshop, so it's nice to get a video done on them every now and again. So I'll just insert a video of the clip now and talk you through what's actually happening with it, and then we'll get to stripping it down and hopefully finding out what's happening. So now we've got an idea of what's going on inside the engine. Let's remove this brace bar and the engine cover so we've got a little bit more access to the engine. Now this is a 2019 Stelvio Quadrifoglio with about 63,000 on the clock. I was thinking about this while I was taking this strut brace off. It's literally held in by two 10mm bolts. It can't really offer that much of a benefit to chassis stiffness, so I wonder why Alfa did put it here when it's not actually on some of the other versions. This is just held in with two 10mm screws. The engine cover and airbox are just literally held in with sort of rubber push fixings. So now we've got access, we can see a little bit more of the pipework on top of the engine. So let's go and start her up and see if we can work out where this noise is coming from. Now if you listen carefully, you can't hear the noise it was making before, but you can hear a very slight sucking noise which shouldn't be there, and I just need to try and determine what rough area it's coming from. So typically I come to film the video and the noise has stopped. I think I'm going to want to wait for it to warm up first and see if this noise will come back. Now it isn't doing the same noise it did, but I've had a feel round. Now if you can probably listen, you can hear, I'll put the microphone right by it. So right, there is the PCV valve, and I can hear a little bit of hissing coming from it. When I put my finger on it, you can hear the tone change. When you squeeze it in the right spot, it stops totally. So what's happening there is this PCV valve. So what's happening here is this valve is leaking underneath here. So let's strip it down so we can have a better look at what's going on. So now I've stopped the engine, you can actually hear it hissing a bit more, but now the engine stopped for a few seconds, it's now totally stopped. So this is the problem, and we're going to try and get this out and see what we can do to fix it. So looking at it, we need to take the intake airbox off so we can have better access to it, and then we can see what's happening with it and whether we can get it out easily. So let's start by removing the airbox. Now, a lot of you are going to be asking, what the hell is a PCV valve? Well, it's actually an abbreviation for positive crankcase ventilation. Now, this plays a crucial role in the proper functioning of the engine. The crankcase is located at the bottom of the engine and has the role of storing all the engine oil. The gases are formed in the engine when fuel is burnt. Most of them escape through the exhaust, but some can still manage to escape into the crankcase. Now, this is not a good idea because they can mix and it can cause problems inside the engine and cause like sludging of the oil as well. So everything will get clogged up and you'll have a lot of problems. So the PCV valve has the role to eliminate all the gases from the crankcase by recycling all these gases, putting them in the intake and mixing them with the fuel again to get rid of them out of the exhaust rather than being stored in the crankcase, causing problems. Now the only things holding the airbox in are 4 rubber bungs and 2 Jubilee clips. And these just clip off. You've got to take the main intake pipes off, and that will enable you to kind of wiggle the airbox out. So now that's removed, we have got a little bit better access to the PCV valve here. Let's strip it back a bit and see. So yeah, let's get that off there and see what we can figure out. So right, I've removed a little bit of the sort of the heat protection wrapping around it. There's yet more around the hose protecting it. So let's undo the connectors and see if it'll come off. The actual valve itself is only held in by 2, T25 Allen bits, but unfortunately there is a lot of stuff in the way stopping you from getting it out. You would think these engines would be relatively easy to work on, but they are extremely daunting because just look at the amount of pipework and hoses that you have to deal with. Telling you what, access is very tight. I think how much easier this job would have been if they'd just put another connector on the other side of the PCV valve, allowing you to just pop it out nice and easily. But no, you have to buy an extremely expensive part to repair this. What I'm trying to do now is figure out where the pipe runs and how on earth I'm going to get it out of here without stripping half the engine down. So there's the intake manifolds in place, there's some metal pipe work in the way. I think they were aircon pipes, and there's just a mass of stuff in the way. There's sensors you can easily snap the ends off. Again, it's just masses of plastic everywhere on the engine. So it looks as though the pipe goes underneath here into these 2 connectors on each bank here. So let's get those undone now and on to the next stage. One of my biggest dreads on this engine is dropping one of these bolts I'm undoing now down into the auxiliary belt, which is pretty much directly below this. Because that would involve stripping the whole front end of the car off probably to try and get to it. So be extremely careful if you fancy tackling this job at home by yourself. I personally wouldn't recommend this as a DIY repair because there's so many things you can easily snap. But I suppose this is why I make these videos, so you can watch them and it'll give you an idea whether it's something you can attempt yourself or not. So if you're utilising this video to help you do this, don't forget to click that donate button, because I'm going to have saved you a lot of time and money getting it to another garage. Now these airbox plastic parts do come out, but it's a little bit of a faff to remove them, so I did leave them in and just wiggle them out of the way when I needed to. Now this is going to be fun to get out without dropping it. Now working on this tight area here, trying to get this bolt out without dropping it, reminds me of playing Operation as a kid. I can just hear that buzz as you earth out the metal.
Here goes his funny bone.
You need a very steady hand.
If I got this wrong, I'd be throwing a much bigger tantrum than I did as a kid. Hey. Okay, right, with the pipe is now all loose, well, as loose as it's going to go with everything still there. So I need to take the intake pipes off or move them out the way a little bit so I can have a little bit better access to pulling that PCV valve out. I have done a little bit of research, and you can get a repair kit for in here for about £70, I'm going to guess. But unfortunately, out of stock, on back order, can't get them, and they've also got to come from America, so I'm going to have to see how much they are in the UK once I get it out. Again, just going over it in my head, will this fit through here? What do I need to remove to make that fit through there? Will something snap? You've got to go over all these things, otherwise you can easily damage stuff. So this part here is where it pulls the gases out of the engine. It then pulls them all the way around into the PCV valve, and then you can see that pipe which I've already unplugged. It goes out of there and then down into the intake system again. Now this is going to need to come out on the one side so I can have slightly better access to get it out. But I'm being very delicate with it because I don't want to break anything. Now if this separated off, that'd be great, but it doesn't. There's just a T-piece in there. Oh, hang on, there's another one down the bottom. That's why it won't come out. Now I've undone the Jubilee clip down here. That is really quite loose, so that's not holding it in. It's just the pressure of it being fitted for so long. Now don't worry about me tugging and pulling too hard on this. This is just a plastic pipe which goes into a silicone hose which goes into one of the intercoolers, I think it is. So you can be a little bit more rough trying to get this one out. Now I'm going to leave this bit here all unedited because you can see how awkward and how complex it is to get it out that little hole there. If you're working on this by yourself, you're going to want to watch this to give you an idea of how I got it out. There may be other ways of doing it, but this is how I did it. Now if this silicone hose would have come loose, it would have been a lot easier to get this out of there, but it was totally stuck to the intercooler. Typically when I went to refit it or finish fitting it, it just popped off and was all loose again, but if you persevere with it you might be able to get it off a lot easier than I could, but this one was definitely stuck fast at the time. Now this is me here trying to figure out what this little wire thing was here, and it goes to like a sensor connector, so I'm wondering, is it a pressure sensor or a kind of a heating device? I'm not sure, so I'm sure somebody will tell me what this little sensor does. Let's just see if we can prise the top off this and see the condition of it. Right, screwdriver underneath the sides to prise it off, and there's a spring inside, so you've got to be careful of it. And yeah, you can see that that is in very bad shape indeed. And it's probably blowing somewhere around there where it's gone all dark. In fact, there's a big rip in it there, look. So that's the reason we're getting the whistling, because of that rip there. So let's go and call the dealer and see how stupidly expensive they are. Which is what essentially I just need a rubber seal, that's all I need. But you're not going to be able to buy those on their own. So here we are, about a week later, new part has arrived. This part has cost nigh on £400, would you believe, for a little bit of hose and a few connectors and one sensor, which could probably be transferred from the old one. So that's why there's a market for these to be made aftermarket. In the UK, may I add, because this guy in America doesn't seem to make very many of them. So let's get this in now and try and figure out how it went in. So we got it down there. As it was a week later, I totally forgot how I'd taken it out. I should have just rewatched the video, but I didn't, and I spent about 20 minutes struggling trying to get it back in. So make sure you order the part before you remove it. It's also a good idea to mark up where the bolts go that you've taken off, because there's quite a few of them. I think there's probably about 15 bolts you had to undo to get all this out, and they are also at different lengths, so do make sure that you put them back in the right place. And there we go, we're mostly back together now. We're at the point now we can at least start the engine safely. So let's get it going and see if it's fixed it. Now this is a totally cold engine, and it's its first start in a week, so it is a little bit tacty and a little bit noisy, but it is perfectly fine and there is no more whooshing noises. So now we can just let the engine warm up and take it for a test drive, get it all nice and warm and make sure it's all fixed. So there we go, all done. It wasn't a terrible job to do, it's just things are in a really awkward position and quite hard to get to, but it's just a case of undoing bolts and sliding things into exactly the same position you've taken them out of. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.